Good morning, Sonder family. Happy Monday. Yes, that is I think it's a remake of Que Sera Sera from I grew up with Doris Day singing it, and Jen and I were just talking. You have Team Jennifer on the call this morning, and we were talking about. I think I used to listen to a vinyl record on the big console that my mom had when I was a little girl. I can remember singing that song, and what a great song for this morning. So Jennifer is popping on. She is my co-facilitator this morning. I'll be leading you through our setup, and Jen will be in the chat, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you might have along the way as we share our time together. I'm very proud of you this morning. You got up, you've carved out this time to ensure that you have a fabulous week ahead. You've kept that appointment with yourself. Many of you already know exactly how you're setting the week up, but you're here for that accountability piece and that community piece with Silk and Sonder. I saw that we have a couple of new Silk and Sonder people joining us for our social this morning. So an extra big welcome to you. We're glad you're here, and we hope that you continue to make this appointment with yourself so that you can have the best weeks that you can. Just a quick reminder about our community guidelines. This is a safe space and a safe community. So we do ask no bullying or hate speech. Remember that we're not going to do promotions, self-promotions, or spam. Just limit those product and accessory questions if you're kind of wanting to know what folks use in their journal and that kind of stuff. Sonder Club is a fabulous place to post those kinds of questions. We're really going to dig into just leaning through this week. We want to focus on that setup. Any customer care inquiries, hello at silkandsonder.com. Hello at silkandsonder.com. We've got a great customer care team, and they can help you out there. And then just a reminder, when we gather together, whether we're doing a weekly setup or we're working through our journal prompts, these times together are really part of the tool of getting that journal to work in your life. But sometimes sitting with some of these prompts can feel a little uncomfortable. And so I want to tell you to be sure to take care of yourself. If something ever you're at a social and something doesn't hit right and you're like, I just don't want to even be there right now, go to that place in my head. You have full permission to flip the page to the coloring, do a little coloring, listen to the music, and then take care of those tender things when you have the headspace to do that. So it's always just a good reminder, take care of your well-being. And this month's theme of acceptance has been one where we really are doing a lot of deep digging. The themes that are a little deeper, man, do we get to know ourselves better? How much growth can we do, right? The acceptance theme really helps us get to know ourselves so much better. So let's talk about our agenda this morning. We're going to work on our acceptance mind map. Now, I know we've got one or two of you brand new folks with us. So let me tell you about a mind map. That is a way at our weekly setups that we take a lens and we look at our monthly theme through that lens for each week. It's a different peek into the theme of the month. And of course, this month is acceptance. So we are actually going to be working on week 3 of acceptance. And if you're brand new, you can maybe grab a screenshot. That's always a pro tip. There's going to be lots of examples shown this morning. And if there's something that resonates with any of you that you're like, I might want to revisit that for repurposing something in my journal, grab a screenshot, or I always sit with my phone when I do a social so I can just take an actual picture. But you can take a picture of the the 2 previous weeks with this week and spend some time digging into the last two if you haven't gotten those already. We're going to do our rosebud thorn reflection. That's just kind of a pillar of what we do when we set up. We reflect over last week. What went well? What are we going to bring into the new week with us? What do we need to leave behind? And then we'll do our weekly setup with a ton of examples, and we'll close. And I'm going to ask you guys to share in the chat as we do that weekly setup. How do you use different spaces in your journal? Because that will speak to someone else who might be thinking, oh, I like that. That would work for me. So lots of sharing this morning. So as I mentioned, with our acceptance mind map, we've looked at 4 different areas of our lives. What do we need to accept? And we've had 3 weeks so far. There will be a total of 4. And this week, you can see, we're focusing on our future. What do we need to accept about our future? So week 1, as you can see, was what are the things I need to accept about my current self, just who I am right now. Week 2, what things do I need to accept about my past and leave it there? And then this week is week 3. What do I need to accept about my future? Now, I'm going to give you full disclosure. I was the co-facilitator for the other 3 weekly setups this weekend. And this one is a little tender. So if you're not in the headspace to deal with it, write the question down and just sit and maybe think of it later, because it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to look into our future and not feel that sense of regret of what we didn't do in our past to frame out our future in a way. And I want you to know you are here with lots of support. So I've got a couple of quotes to consider as we look at what do we need to accept about our future. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means understanding that something is what it is, and that there's got to be a way through it. And that's from the fabulous Michael J. Fox, who can really speak to that from his heart. He's been such a glowing example of dealing with an illness that he would not have imagined would be his future. And then this beautiful Buddhist saying, if you want to know your past, look into your present conditions. And if you want to know your future, look into your present actions. And yes, Vanessa, it's tricky, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. And acceptance is a good thing. That's healing for us as we move forward. Thank you for sharing those. So here's what I did for my mind map. Now, this can be done on a number of spaces in your journal. Some folks like to do this, set it up on the definition page. Some folks like to just do week by week, and they use that weekly scratch pad. What I did this month, because we had a little bit of June hanging out in the July journal, I just went to that page that I wasn't going to use because I finished out June there. And so I've got my responses there. And I really leaned in for this week to think about what aging looks like. I just celebrated a milestone birthday a couple of weeks ago, turning 60, and man, all of a sudden I'm really realizing I'm going down that hill, right? I'm definitely over the hill. Thank you, India. And I'm trying to embrace it, right? Like I know ails are coming, and I can't imagine not having a day where I'm not just moving and grooving and grow, right? There are things I'm going to have to face about aging, about allowing help, about knowing that really we kind of go backwards, right? Someday I'm going to need help eating. And so those things are kind of facing me. And I want to, thanks, Jen. It's the new 40. But I do know, there are going to be things, there's going to be times my grandkids are going to outgrow me. Like right now, I'm like queen grandmother, but they're going to get big. I saw it with my children, and they still have a relationship, but it changes, right? They get bigger, they get their own lives. So there's a lot of things about that aging process, and I just jotted a couple of things down. But I know that there are things that you think about in your future and what you imagine may or may not have been, and what do you need to think about in terms of acceptance for your future. I'm going to play a quick song while you respond to this quote or this prompt, or maybe just jot a couple of things down or share in the chat. You don't, and if it's not if it's not comfortable to work on right now, write the question down, let it bounce around in your brain for a little while. Mine is kind of always bouncing around in my brain because it's a big thing. I'll be back to check in. Okay, I know that was a little bit of a quick moment to work on a pretty deep topic. So thank you for starting that, for spending time with that, for embracing that future and being okay with where you are. We are life isn't the thing about the future is we don't know, right? And so we can just try to accept some of the things that are known, but also be open to what may come to us in the future. So thank you for sharing. I know that it's hard when there are illnesses or there are losses or there are things undone that you won't be able to do. And accepting where you are in life is it's just good growth for us, right? And figuring out how to frame it to make your life the best that it can be given circumstances. So thank you for leaning into this. And if you need to sit a little bit longer with it, or let it kind of mull around, that's good. That's good for you. Do that. So let's turn to page 44, and that's the end of last week. And we're going to stop for a moment and think about how last week went and do this rose bud thorn reflection. Now, the roses are those great things about last week that you want to celebrate and embrace and keep at the top of your mind. Those roses balance out the thorns. The buds are emerging opportunities, things that might be coming up. Sometimes a bud can be as simple as it's Monday, it's a new week, and embracing that as the potential for what lies ahead. And then the thorn are those things that are not so great, maybe things you want to leave behind. Maybe there were, it's kind of the yucky stuff of life. So mine last week, we got home safely. We had a big family trip to Colorado. We were able to, we kept calling it Colorado because it's going to be like 106 here in Texas tomorrow in the Dallas area. We just loved the break from the heat. My bud is in a few weeks, I'm celebrating my 40th anniversary. And so we're planning a little quick getaway down to the Texas Gulf Coast to the hot beach down there. But that is home. That is where we lived our entire marriage up until about 3 years ago. So I'm excited about going back to the beach. And the thorn is our air conditioner died while we were en route from our vacation. I couldn't get the Nest to work. So, we had the issues and getting a technician out. And so, that made for a hot one. So, India, we're neighbors. That's so much fun. I'm in Garland, actually. So I would love to celebrate your roses with you. Drop those in the chat. And if you need some extra loving about those thorns that happen, put those in the chat so we can give you some virtual support. And I'll be back to check on you in just a minute. lots of really great things happening for the Sonder family. Spouses with new job opportunities, traveling, um, fabulous vacation Bible school. You guys, anniversaries. Oh, happy anniversary, Pamela. I love a couple of things. Someone, I've lost it in the chat, but said my butt is just getting back on track, right? After a big birthday week and kind of being off that schedule. So a bud is that's a great way to embrace a bud, like just get digging back into life. That's the opportunity that is coming your way. Jennifer K dropped in. She's getting ready to be a grandma, and I think she's going to be the most fabulous grandma. So I'm so excited for her with that. We're sending you good thoughts, Jen, and your family, the little family to be. So thank you for sharing that, and those thorns, right? Life is that mixed bag. So we do hold space for the tough things, for the funerals and the health issues. This community is here, and just when you feel alone, remember that you're not alone, because you have the Sonder family kind of supporting. When you have shared this, when you've written it down on paper, it becomes real, and it becomes part of the essence of this gathering right now. So this is your journal. Remember that. And you use these spaces how you see fit. If you are brand new, you might want to grab a screenshot here. This is a lot of ideas of how you can repurpose the spaces. Now, you can use the spaces as they are. I've kind of got my journal set up for the week. You'll notice I do a shopping list bingo board every week there. You just use this space, this tool, to work for you and what you need in your life. You can also use it as is, as printed, as suggested. So whatever works for you. And Karen, no, there is not a journal available that's a digital type journal. This is a monthly subscription. And if you'd like more, you can more information, you can go to the Silk and Sonder website, which would just be silkandsonder.com. And it'll tell you a little bit more about that. I'm not sure if you're a subscriber or not. Oh, you're waiting for that journal to arrive. Okay, we'll take lots of notes and lots of pictures. All righty, so let's move on. We're going to be at page 46 this morning, and believe it or not, it's week 29 of 2023, which is crazy to think. We're now a little over halfway there, right? And this week I want to feel. So I'm going to ask you guys to think about, how do you want to feel for this week? Thinking about what's going on in your life, and drop that in the chat. And we're also going to drop that in that space that says, this week I want to feel. Now, since I was traveling and, we got back kind of midweek last week and got going and stuff, my words this week, I want to feel back on track. That's what I've written there in that space. You can use a sentence, you can use one word, you can use several words. I'm seeing hopeful and focused this week. Is there a phrase or a mantra? Maybe there's a sticker that is going to just capture how you want to feel. Dinah is on team back on track this week. Jennifer needs to be organized. She also has a big move coming up in her life. Cindy's going to be at ease, another focus. There's no right or wrong. How you want to feel is how you want to feel. There's some inspiration if you're kind of stuck with some words because it's a little early. Want to feel capable, caught up, another back on track. Nothing like taking a vacation from life, right? Relaxed. If your schedule is full, what do you need so that you're taking good care of yourself? Grounded, energized, ready to go. Perfect. So write that stuff in, write those feelings in that space that says, this week I want to feel, because it is going to frame out your week and be your reminder. And you might even want to take this word or this phrase or these words, put them on a post-it note, stick it to your steering wheel, put it on the mirror in your bathroom when you're getting ready. You're seeing those words in that self reminder. So now I want you to think about, we're going to drop right below that and think about your weekly goals. Now, the space says weekly major 3 goals. You may only need to set 1 goal. If life is crazy and this is the one thing you need to do, then put that one thing down. It doesn't have to be 3. And we tease Mayha a lot because she'll come to setups and she'll like, can I put down 5? You know, she's our dreamer and she's got a million things going. So you do what you need to do to work for you. But my one question for you to consider is, how are the goals you're setting going to support that way you want to feel? And so some ways to frame this out is you could go back to those monthly intentions that you set on page 9, or look at that habit tracker on page 11, see how that's going, check in, and use that to guide you through how you're setting your weekly goals. We worked on our future, right? Maybe you just really lean into some goals this week about acceptance and your future. A lovely thing to consider is, what are some no goals that you're going to have? What are you going to eliminate from your life to better serve yourself? Do you have anything outstanding? You know, we're going to be wrapping up July soon. Are there some stuff from the previous weeks that could go here? And then doing a personal challenge, like this week, I'm really focusing on my health, or I'm focusing on my rest, and I'm going to have 3 goals around rest. And then you can also create categories, and there's a whole list of different categories on how to frame out those goals. Doing a mind goal, a body goal, a soul goal, left brain, right brain, no brain. I did frog fun and fruitful for a few weeks that I really enjoyed. And the frog was always the one goal of the thing I didn't want to do, but I needed to do. It's like that, eat the frog, eat the toad frame of mind, and then a goal for fun and a goal for being fruitful and productive. So lots of ways. So this is what it looks like in our journal. You can see how folks have set this up. I love that. Yes, eat the frog. That's the thing. Like, oh, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Get it over with. Me goal, home goal, work goal, mind, body, work. And then this person was just embracing their word, their feeling. They wanted to feel celebrated, have that word that define their goals: celebrate their health, celebrate family, celebrate vacationing. Here's some more, how it's set up. Also notice the one in the upper middle. It's just a quote. That is the reminder for the week. That is how they used this space, right? So there's no right or wrong. You make it work for yourself. Let's see here. And then so that'll be our goals. Let me put on a song, and I'll go back and forth through these slides in case something speaks to you that you want to incorporate, and let us know what you put in this space, how you're using it. Okay, I just want to give a quick shout out. Let me go back a slide so that we can look at Rihanna's authentic there over on the right. That was her example from her journal. And she was kind enough to share it with us through Sonder Club. And I saw it and snatched it up so that I could share that with you. So always, occasionally we'd love to see those postings. If you're not always, if you don't have to post every time, but if you've got a setup that you love, post that because it inspires others and it gives us some fun things to share in these setups. So now we're going to look at our weekly to-dos. That is that space to the left of our goals. And just a reminder, I love this little quote. It's okay if what you have planned to do isn't exactly what you are doing now. The beauty of life unfolds in unexpected ways. What a great little reminder as we are really leaning into the future this week with our mind map. So when you don't get to-dos done, that's neutral. It might be on paper, but keep it neutral. Don't go hard on yourself. Life happens, right? So I did want to share this Pomodoro method for the to-do list. This kind of is new to me, and there was a lot of chatter in some Silk and Sonder chats several weeks ago. So I looked into it. So this is a way to get your to-dos done, right? And the Pomodoro method is basically one Pomodoro. That's and it's tomato. That's what it means in Italian. But it was inspired by those little tomato timers that you can twist the top. And this was a student, and he was like, I've got to figure out a way to be a little more productive. So he had that timer, and he would set it for 25 minutes and focus in on a task or tasks on his to-do list, and then he would pair it with a 5-minute break. And he would do that 4 times. So that's a 2-hour chunk, right? And then he would give himself a good break, get up, walk around, move, get a snack, and he would wash, rinse, and repeat all day long. He would do that method to get his things on that to-do list tackled. So if that is, I like setting timers. They really help me, and it helps me focus because when the timer goes off, I stop. And that's the thing that I usually don't do. And then I get real distracted and I'm all over the place. So that's something you could look into as a tool for your to-do list. Another great thing is the Eisenhower matrix. If you've been here before, we talk about this every week. I've got a graphic that really breaks it down into easy. You make your to-do list and you plug all the to-dos into that graphic that you see at the upper left. And what that does is when you look at all the to-dos and decide what's urgent and important, all the way down to what's really not important and not urgent, when you can plug those things in, it helps you prioritize. And I know when my list tends to be really long, somehow I gravitate to the things that are not important and not urgent and spend my time there when I needed to be spending my time on the urgent and important. And then there's some Sonder family examples of what their Eisenhower matrix looks like. Also, just other ways of framing out this space. It can be a to-do list. It can be, if you notice the one at the top, see those 3 major goals: balance, budget, bylaws. Look over to the to-dos. Those to-dos correspond with each one of those goals. So very focused on what's going to happen that week. So that's something else you can do for your to-dos. And then you can divide your to-dos up, your work to-dos and your home to-dos, or morning and evening to-dos and routines. And then you can also just repurpose this space. Throw in a great quote. Lots of folks are team bingo here, and they put their to-dos in the shape of a little bingo board so that they can gamify the things they need to do, mark them off as they go. It gives you that good feedback, a little dopamine push when you mark those things off. I love the one in the bottom middle. What my weekly to-be's. What am I going to be this week? And then there's always the making the list of what not to do. Remember, I referenced what do we need to eliminate so that our life is better serving us. And then I am team ta-da, and that is that upper upper right one. And I just leave this space blank for the week. I put my daily to-dos in the weekly spread. I've got a little section where I put my to-dos. And then all the extras that I do that I want to celebrate and just give myself a pat on the back for go in my ta-da list. And so I just keep it blank and add to it as I go along. So let's work out our to-dos. Let us know how you set this space up, and I'll be back. Okay, so you guys kind of have some great ideas for how you're going to set your to-dos up for the week. And if you try something new and it worked for you, or even if it doesn't work, go to Sonder Club and put it in there and say, I tried this and here's what I found. Because it can really, again, encourage each other to break out of maybe what we've always been doing, give something else a little try. And again, it's always great to see the inspiration. So now we're going to drop down to our habit and activity tracker. And for those of you who are brand new, you're like, why do we have all these trackers for our habits in our book? So that monthly habit tracker that we have, the big wheel that's at the front of our journal, those we like to think about, those are kind of the things we strive for on a daily basis. And it could be things like making our bed, brushing our teeth, remembering those vitamins, applying sunscreen, those things that you plan to do on a day-to-day basis, right? Every single day. But the weekly trackers are great because you can set them up to just track one or two things. One of my weekly habit trackers that I write is usually go check your monthly tracker to remind me to turn to that page and make sure I'm doing the things that I put on the monthly tracker. So let's look at some examples of how you can use this space. Now, lots of things to tell you about here. you will see where it says a goal. You don't have to set a goal. If that doesn't work for you, white over it, put a sticker there, mark through it. You might just use this as a straight up tracker. Now, sometimes I need a goal, and so I'll put maybe, I don't know, eat veggies twice a day. That might be a goal of 7 times. Like I really want to do it every single day. Look on the left in the middle. Do you see there are only 3 habits or activities written there? You don't have to fill in every single line. Again, you know what's going on in your world this week. So focus on what works for you. Now, the one on the bottom left, not tracking with numbers, or not doing a goal with a number, but you're going to track with those colors. So they've color coded what is on their activities, and then they're just going to mark that in when they actually do it. The one in the middle toward the right there, do you see how the days are circled? And the one below that, they're circled. So those are the days that you may plan to do something. I take a medication every 3 days. I have this medication. And so to track, like, did I do it on Monday or was it Monday or Tuesday? I circle the days that I'm going to, because it's not consistent. It's not an every other day thing. And so one of that bottom tracker, that's what I've done this week. You can see right there, these are the days this week that I'll need to do that medication. And that's my visual reminder to do that. Look at the one at the upper middle. There's a big X through those last days of the week. I think somebody's going out of town for the weekend and they're giving themselves permission to not worry about the things on the tracker and just lean in and enjoy a true vacation day. So just, lots of reminders here when we see other people's trackers. So let's take a moment to work on this, and I'll be back to check on you in just a minute. Diane, I am so glad you asked about Sonder Club. I talk about it and just forgot to mention it is an app on your phone for those of you who may have missed that in the chat and you're not a part of Sonder Club. It is a free app to download. And it is so great. You will have daily affirmations. You can access Mayha's daily rituals where you can sit with your journal and really dig in. Plus, it's a social media connection community where you can engage and interact with the Sonder family. But man, it's so much better than like Facebook, right? Because it's positive and uplifting and just love it. So if you're not part of the Sonder Club, go check out your app store and get that on your phone. Load that up. And you'll find lots of inspiration too. There's inspiration tabs so you can see how people set up pages there as well. So now we're going to be digging into page 47. That is this whole page, and I'm going to show you examples for everything. And because this page gets repurposed a lot, you can use it just as it is, but I'm going to show you a lot of examples of all the spaces and then just give you time to work on this page all at once. So we're going to look at the meal plan, the mind body health plan, the shopping list, and the I am loving box. The meal plan is just primo space to repurpose if you're not going to track meals. And I know some people like to put kind of their main meal of the day over on the mind body health plan, and then they use the meal space here for all these different purposes. And I'll scroll through these slides because something may speak to you like, oh, a daily debrief, or that is a good idea to do a symptom tracker here. I can have it all in one place to show my physician. Feels in meals you eat and how did that make you feel? That's a kind of a symptom tracker. But also, you might be struggling like, am I just eating because I'm bored? And you might look at those feelings. Self-care plan, weekly reflections, chore list. Now, I do always like to point out the one on the left that this one has been in my slide deck for months. See those color-coded water drops? This person is tracking what is going into their body liquid-wise, right? The water, coffee, and I think it was water, tea, and chocolate for this person, but you could do lemonade as yellow, but it's a great way to track what you're drinking. Now, if you're not going to use that for tracking, I've also seen someone else use this space. They write a response to a journal prompt or something that they're doing, or maybe it's a show they watch, and they rate it on a scale of 1 to 8 by coloring in those drops. They let those drops be their ratings, which I thought was also a great way to repurpose this space. The mind body health plan. This I kind of like this is my me box. This is what I'm focusing on for me. And it may be physical things that I'm doing for self-care, but also some mental self-care. This week, I'm learning about turning triggers into glimmers. And we're actually going to offer a little bit of that in one of our exclusives next month. And so I'm leaning into embracing glimmers, which are cues that bring about joy, safety, and connection. So that's what I'm going to do in this space this week. But here are some great suggestions. While we're working on this page, I will scroll through all of these wonderful examples from our fabulous Sonder family. Love the one in the middle there. How do I feel? And what is that telling me I need? How did I nourish my mind, body, and soul? That upper one on the right there. So just really great ways to be intentional about taking care of yourself. Some more examples there. Our shopping list, again, great little spot to repurpose. I keep a virtual shopping list that I share with my husband. So I don't need a shopping list in my journal. So I turn this space into a weekly bingo. And, that's where I have my tasks and my treats and my to-dos. And I will encourage you somewhere, if you celebrate anything, make yourself a little bingo, an anniversary bingo or a birthday bingo, or if you're celebrating someone in your life. It's just kind of a fun thing to do that week. My birthday week bingo is there up at the top right. And it was just so much fun to just be extra good to myself. So I encourage you to do that. But lots of ways, your shopping list may be just a reminder, no unnecessary spending, or stay out of the dollar store. Just that visual that you see that's going to help you meet those financial intentions that you set up at the front end of the month. Again, here, look at this one on the bottom left, social check-in, the list of people in her life that she wants to check in with this week. And how is she going to do it? Is she going to text, call, or face-to-face? And she's just being so intentional about embracing those people that are in her life. I love that. Some great quotes could go here just to kind of give you that inspiration for the week. And then finally, what are you loving right now? Is it a TV show? Is it a new recipe? Is it better rest? Is, I am loving myself by. So fill this in with whatever meets your needs. I'm going to put on some music. Let's work on this page. Let us know if you repurpose. Now, I do the meal plan, but I use it more as a meal tracker. So like after the fact, because I still cook like I have a million people at home and it's just my husband and me. So we eat leftovers all the time. And I want to make sure I know how old the leftovers are. But you can use these spaces for whatever works in your life. I love when I see folks share in the chat how they're using something and then someone else is like, "Oh, great idea. I'm going to try that." That is what this community is all about. I so appreciate you guys for sharing. So let's take a quick look at some weekly spreads and how people set up those pages Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on through the week. You can see that some folks, well, mine are pretty, I'm retired. So on mine, I just put like any time related things here. And then my to-do list for each day will go there, or any notes or phone calls I need to make, that kind of stuff. But here are some great examples if you're kind of stuck and not sure what to do with those spaces. Lots of folks will just use this as kind of their daily journal dump where they just sit and write. But if you wanted to divide the spaces up, here's some great examples from our Sonder family. That this one's great. What did I accomplish? Self-care, do tomorrow. That one, kind of that week at a glance sort of look. I'm going to encourage you to share your planner in Sonder Club so that you too can get great ideas and we can be inspired by you. Thank you for coming today. If you want to refer a friend to the magic that is Silk and Sonder, the QR code is there that will give you $10 credit and them $10 credit. Also, you'll receive a feedback email following this social, but any feedback you have about your journal experience can be shared in that feedback, and you can access that by the QR code or wait for that email to come. And then we do have the private YouTube link filled with Sonder socials. All the socials are recorded with the exception, well, the exclusive socials are recorded, but you have to have registered for those and paid for those to have access to those recordings. But all the other recordings are there and free. And I want to encourage you, Jen is going to drop in a link to a fireside chat that is coming up between our founder, Meha, and the fabulous author, Gretchen Rubin. And they're going to be discussing Gretchen's new book about life in the 5 senses. And we refer to Gretchen's stuff a lot. She's the one who did the Happiness Project. And so I've got my ticket. I can't wait to go. It will be a week from this Thursday, and I hope to see you there. I think it's going to be fabulous. There is my playlist, and I will also drop that into the chat. And then if there are any slides that you want to see, let me know and I'll go back to it as we leave for a fabulous week. Thank you for making time for yourself to set up your journal, and I just wish you a great week.
I don't know why you think that you could help me when you couldn't get by yourself. And I don't know who would ever want to tell the seam of someone's dream. Baby, it's fine. You said that we should just be friends. Well, I came up with that line, and I'm sure that it's for the best. If you ever change your mind, don't hold